up, everybody? I am fresh back from Italy and I wanted to do a quick video on the camera gear that I brought that I didn't need to bring to Italy, which would have lightened my pack and made things much easier. I've already done a video on the camera gear that I took to Italy, and that'll be linked at the end of this video or in the description down below so you can see all the gear that I brought. I'm not going to go into that much detail in this video. But in this video, I want to talk about what I actually used. So most of the time, this was how I was geared up. I was using this camera here, which actually went for a swim in Venice and is completely toast right now. But most of the time I had this camera with me with this quarter 20 threaded at the top. I would have it attached to this little tripod thing down at the bottom, or I would have it attached to this tripod and I would wrist strap this guy to myself and I would walk around carrying this with it on it. In addition to that, this is how my pockets were filled. I had a luggage lock that I would carry with me. I had a GoPro on this little stand here with a wrist strap that I could easily hold and guide around in case I was holding it over a cliff or something and I might drop it. That's why I had the wrist strap. And then a little stand let me set it up pretty easily. Also, many times I took this guy and screwed it on the top of here. And for a lot of the trip, this was my camera setup. I would use the GoPro to get super wide shots, and then I would use the regular camera to zoom in. And then I also had this little guy on the side of me that I could clip the camera to. I wouldn't walk around with the camera clipped to me like this. This was just if I was somewhere on a tour or whatever in a museum and I needed my hands free for some reason, I had a way that I could clip the camera and I wouldn't have to put it down, and I could still walk with it if need be. But that's how I use the camera most of the time. Also in my pockets was little Lytra light. This thing turned out to be fantastic. I brought 2 of these and I'm glad I did. It came in handy in many situations. So that empties that pocket. This side I had a Rode Lav microphone that would plug into a cell phone so we could record audio at a distance. I brought my wallet with money and credit cards in it. I brought an extra battery for the main camcorder, and then I would bring 2 GoPro batteries as well. Let's see what else. I had my cell phone and then this little clip thing here. And this is the extent of pretty much what I carried with me every day, and this was the essentials. Now at the end of the day when I got back, I needed to charge all of this up, and this was pretty much my charging rig. This is how I charged everything. Now I had to bring 2 versions of plugs because Italy uses both of these plugs, and I actually had to use both of them at various times. And then I also brought 2 backups of those plugs, which I'm glad that I brought. This allowed me to charge 2 batteries at once for the main camcorder. It allowed me to plug in the Lytras, the little lights that I brought. It allowed me to charge 2 GoPro batteries. It allowed me to charge 2 iPhones and the Apple Watch. And I still had 1 available space over here. In addition, I brought these 3 Apple style USB chargers, and I didn't really need to bring all 3 of these. Next time I think I'm just going to bring 1. However, one of these dual Jabra plugs, this particular one here, actually began to fail on me. This connection is a little weak, and this particular one replaced that, so I'm glad I did bring it. Also, 2 Anker charging blocks. I never used the bigger one, but I would still bring this with me just in case I was someplace that I didn't have power. At least I had a power pack here. We did use the little one several times. It's easy to carry with you. Some extra wires for plugging in the various things and charging them. So all of that would still remain. GoPro wise, I brought the clamp. I took it with me and I used it a couple of times. I would probably still bring this. The Telson Dome. This was a pain in the butt to carry with me. It takes up so much room in the pack, and it's just a pain. I don't know, if I were going to a strictly snorkeling adventure, then I would take this thing with me. Otherwise, it was kind of a waste. I don't know. I mean, the footage that it got will remain to be seen as if it was definitely worth it. So I'm not sure if I would take this. It would depend on the vacation. A GoPro handle, I would definitely take this again, even though I have this guy here. This one came in handy because the bottom of it unscrews, and when we went to the beach, I was able to put money and my room key in here and didn't have to worry. Also, as I had mentioned before, I brought one of these padlocks when we went to the beach. I could lock our pack to an umbrella and not have to worry about it. 2 batteries for the main camcorder, of course, until it went dead. Need those, it's not really GoPro. This little $1/4 guy, I would still bring it. I would not bring this if I was bringing the Dome. So it's really one or the other. I don't need both of these. They're both waterproof, and I never actually use this. However, if I was going on a trip and I wasn't going to bring the Dome, then this little guy is pretty small, and even though the Hero 5 is waterproof, sticking it in this keeps all the salt water off of the Hero 5 and, you know, preserves the seals and makes it, you know, easier. So this is kind of up in the air whether or not I would bring it again. I brought 2 phone windshield mounts, and the next time around I would not do that. I would only bring this attachment here, which allows me to attach a phone to a GoPro, and that brings me to the GoPro suction cup. This allows it to do double duty. I could use the suction cup on the car, or I could put the suction cup inside the car and then attach the car mount to it and be able to, you know, have nav or whatever. But the cars that we rented had navigation, so I never had to use this. I did use the GoPro suction mount though. There were some videos that I got with that, so that was worth it. This little mouthpiece that's used for getting steadier GoPro shots, I didn't use it at all. I don't think I would bring this again, so that's another few ounces saved. The headband I did not use on this trip, but I have used it before, so I would continue to take that. This little strap belongs to that mouthpiece. I always bring a GoPro, this happens to be a GoPro lanyard, but I always bring a lanyard. I didn't have to use it this trip. It is pretty light, and it's just a nice thing to have if I need to clip on to something for some reason to, you know, keep it secure. I brought 2 $1/4 to GoPros, didn't need them, wouldn't bring them again. That saves an ounce or 2. So that covers the GoPro stuff. I brought this Polar Pro thing, which I've often used and Deanna's often used when vlogging here. Didn't use it at all, wouldn't bring it. I brought zip ties, which I have brought before for easy way to clamp down the camera. It turns out I've used these a couple of times, but I don't really use these enough to warrant actually bringing them ever again. And with the zip ties, I end up bringing a wire cutter to be able to cut the zip ties loose, so I don't need this, and that saves a few ounces. I did bring this contraption here, which allows me to screw different cameras and things onto it. I didn't use it, but I could see how I might have been in a situation where I would use it, so I would still bring it. I brought extra lanyards or wrist straps, and thankfully I did, because this one Deanna's phone was attached to and it broke, so I was able to replace the one that was on her phone. So I definitely bring those again. Lens cleaner, I would bring that. I brought 2 clamps for the iPhones. Don't need to bring 2, I'm just gonna bring 1 next time. I did bring 2 luggage locks, I will still do that. 2 carabiners, I will still do that. The Smoothie, which I've reviewed in a video before and is an awesome little toy. And I used it and it worked, but I found that the steadiness of the iPhone 7 Plus defeated the use of this. I could just take the iPhone 7 Plus and shoot and get super steady video that I actually stopped using this. I did set it up for the GoPro and use it on the GoPro a few times, and I feel it's almost better on that because the way the GoPro attaches to it, the way the GoPro attaches to here, you end up with a couple of joints which actually allow you to, you know, let the GoPro angle up or let the GoPro angle down. So you can get a couple of interesting shots. That being said, I brought 2 of these and it was small and it doesn't take up too much room. I would probably still bring it. This is the attachment for this movie to go onto a phone. I brought 2 of these little Jabra things and I never used a single one, which is bizarre because for vlogs here at home, I use these guys all the time, but I didn't use them at all in Italy. So next time I would probably just bring 1 of these. Deanna's wonderful mother made this for me, which is a little like beanbag sandbag to put some sand in and be able to use to put the camera on. And I just didn't use it. I ended up using this or the GoPro. The reason that I really had her do this was because I wasn't sure how good this little GoPro mount. It seems very flimsy and I didn't know if this was gonna last. And also this was falling apart and I didn't know how long this was gonna last, although it seemed to be pretty durable and go. So I don't know if I would bring this again. I mean, it is small, it doesn't take up much room, you put some sand in it and it's good to go, but I don't know. I brought a waterproof case for my iPhone, didn't need it, wouldn't bring it again. That covers any camera support. And Pelican case for SD cards, that's a must. I brought this little foam guy, which I cut and made to wrap around the front of the camera here to block out wind, and that worked out really well. The Lytras, or Litras as they call them, have these little silicone rubber things to put around them so when they get hot you can still hold them. These never got hot enough. I never used them long enough that they would get hot enough. This doesn't take up any weight, but it was a total waste. I wouldn't bring those. There's also these little diffusions for the Litras. I would probably just bring one. I used it once, but mostly, you know what, I wouldn't bring either one of them. I use this fine, and if I wanted diffusion, I just sort of moved it away. Worked out okay. I did bring extra little softy things, which you can see I glued one on the side of the GoPro right here. And I brought some extra ones. I never had to dig into the extra ones. I brought them because I wasn't sure how long this would last. And you can see it's actually coming apart a little bit here. But that was a month of durable usage in Italy and it still stayed on there. So I wouldn't bring extras. I just would probably put a fresh one on whatever I was gonna take. The little fuzzy, which is for the iPhone, and I use this occasionally here when it's windy. I didn't use it at all when I was in Italy. We didn't have a wind problem, or if we did, we went to using the little lavs. An extra lav, I'd still bring that. The iReaders to offload footage from the iPhone to SD cards, I did use those and I would use those again. This thing, which I had talked about for the beach, that is a lock that allows you to lock any of your phone or personal items to your lawn chair or your beach chair or your umbrella. This was actually fantastic and came in handy more so than just the beach. We stayed in Airbnbs which didn't have safes in the room, so I would put our passports in here and I would lock it to the plumbing under the sink when we left, so at least there was some sort of a safe to keep our passports okay. And that's it. This is what I would bring and this is what I wouldn't bring. It saves, I don't know, maybe a half a pound or a pound, but when you've got that on your back lugging it around for 30 days or, you know, even for a week, a pound can be quite a bit. So hopefully some of you found this interesting. If you didn't, I am sorry, and tomorrow will be a more normal vlog of me walking the dogs and stuff like that. If you want to see all this gear in more detail, I will link the video somewhere up here and around me right now or in the video description. And be sure to subscribe. We love it when you subscribe, and be sure to watch some other videos and click that thumbs up button and a like button and blah, 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 and thanks.